Hello, welcome back. I'm Heather, or Miss Postwait if you're one of my students, and this is Pages with Postwait. Today is my 6th video for Banned Book Week, and I am kind of ending the week with a heavier book. So I read Monster by Walter Dean Myers. Look at all these awards that this book won. It's been censored and banned multiple times. This was published in 1999. And I found at least 3 instances where school districts were censoring it or editing. Heather here, coming back in. Just wanted to clarify the book, Monster. Remember how I said it was published in 1999? It made it onto the American Library Association's top 100 for 2010 to 2019. So an entire decade after it's been published is when it actually made it onto the list for bans and challenges. It was number 74 on that list for books being banned, and banned and challenged because of themes of racial injustice, use of adult language, and references to sexual themes. So that is what it was being called out on. Thought I would clarify that. All right, thanks guys. The book is heavy. I found this one to not be an easy read. So where I have read some of the other novels over this week that were kind of silly, like Goosebumps, lighthearted or whimsical, like The Prince and the Dressmaker, this one is heavy and it's powerful in that way. It is written as a screenplay. So our main character is Steve Harmon, and he is basically finding himself on trial for participation in a robbery that went bad, and the clerk at the robbery was killed. You go through the trial with him. He's writing the screenplay as kind of a way for him to handle the situation. He is taking kind of that step back. He's a film student. He's very passionate about filmmaking. He's a high school kid. Seems to have been caught up maybe in a situation with some people that weren't exactly good news. You watch him process this, deal with it. It is heavy, it is hard, and the book kind of follows through, and you kind of find out as you go with him through this journey how the case pans out. It was hard to read and painful because you're watching this kid and you can tell his heart's in the right place and he's scared and he's in a situation he never thought he would be in. And he's trying to process that. I am not going to spoil this book for you. I want you to read it. I didn't know this until sitting down and doing a little bit of research. There's a movie. So it's written to be a movie, and apparently it was sold. So the book's written in 1999. The movie came out in 2018. It is on Netflix, and I have not seen it. I have not watched it, but I will have to check that out. I kind of wanted to do a little more research on this one, and so I found an interview. So Walter Dean Myers was the National Ambassador for Young People's Literature back in 2013. As they interviewed him. This is the National Coalition Against Censorship. I'm going to link this interview so you can read the whole thing down below, but I wanted to highlight what he kind of talked about in this interview about his books being challenged and banned. So the question was, tell me about the first time one of your books was banned. What went through your mind? And he says, I was annoyed, but I also understood that the children I write about are usually regarded as the troublemakers and the ones least likely to succeed. It hardly came to me as a surprise that schools and teachers would not want their lives celebrated. I have several of Walter Dean Myers books on my library. I don't have this one because I do feel like age level, it's not quite the right level. He's a very good writer. The next question down says, your 3 most challenged books include Fallen Angels, which deals with the Vietnam War, Hoops, about a teenager's love of basketball, and Monster, an award-winning novel about a 16-year-old on trial for murder. Is book banning ever justified? And he said, books should be age appropriate. Of course, I think that parents and teachers have an obligation to make sure that they are age appropriate, but I don't see a justification for censorship beyond that point. That is the most articulate, best statement for how I also feel about book banning. I agree. I agree that we need to make sure that the books are age appropriate. As many young people have pointed out and families have pointed out, what's right for one family is not necessarily right for another, and what's age appropriate for one child may not be age appropriate for another. And so we need to use our best judgments. And in using our best judgments, we need to make sure that we are allowing for everyone to find that happy place and not censor things and not decide that we know best for everyone, because we don't. This book was hard to read. I'm glad I read it. I feel like it highlights some untold voices. I feel like it helps shine a light in places where maybe we don't always get to see. And I think that it did a very good job of highlighting and articulating and demonstrating the humanity in a situation, in a place, and maybe with troublemakers who are just scared and misunderstood and doing the best that they can to. I like that I was reading this one this week, because when you want to talk about our justice system and problems with it, was a good one to highlight and read. Anyway, so Banned Book Week. We are almost to the end. Tomorrow is Saturday. That is our read between the lines. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you're reading banned books. Keep doing it. I gave this one 4 stars. Very good. I want to say it was a fast read, because honestly, the way that it's presented should have been a fast read, but the material was heavy enough that I had to stop and process sometimes and just think through and sit with it. So it didn't go as fast as I thought it would. Good book. Highly recommend. Monster by Walter Dean Myers. Banned Book Week. Happy reading. Have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.